And here she is, as we have 8 minutes to spend with her, talking and helping you to survive and thrive during COVID 19. We got Crystal Howell, our internal auditor, and of course, she helps you every morning, every Monday morning, that is, to manage those pennies. Crystal, good to see you. Hope you're well.
Good to see you as well. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. Of course, we know that we can't wait to hear what advice, what nuggets of advice you have for us to help manage those pennies. Where do we go this morning?
Well, this morning we're going to look at some of the areas that persons sometimes overlook. And in a time when you are trying to make sure that you manage all of the pennies, you don't want to miss any of it. So last week we would have looked at a budget and in a different perspective, trying to outline the different areas that you can trim and replace different areas so that you can bring your budget into control. This time, we're going to be looking at some of those hidden areas where money slips away. And one of the first things we'll be looking at is submitting your health, dental, or vision claims, making sure that you get those in. And full disclosure, as always, anytime I talk about insurance, I do work for Auditor, and I want to make sure that persons are fully aware. For many of those claims, there is a time limit in which you have to submit it. So for some companies, you have 3 months from the time of the claim in which you should be submitting it so you can get back your money. And you want to make sure that if you have anything outstanding, that you would submit them in a timely manner so that you'll be able to get back any funds or any money that is due to you, especially when it comes to those particular procedures that are a bit pricey. You don't want that you have a claim where you can be getting back your funds, less your deductible and any other expenses, and you have it there sitting down and wasting money. That is definitely not something you would want to do at a time like this. So any dental claims, vision claims, medical claims that you have there sitting down, get your invoices, your receipts from your health practitioner, attach them to the form, make sure that they're filled out correctly, and have them submitted to your insurance company as soon as possible.
Hmm. Sounds a bit tedious. It sounds a bit time consuming, but it's something that is critical if you're to get back some much
It
needed money.
actually it only takes a few minutes to fill them out. I guess for some persons, if you're not familiar, you can call your insurance company, and I'm sure that they'd be more than happy to help you to make sure that you're filling them out properly. And the 3 months kicks in as soon as you submit, then you're fine. Even if you've made a mistake, they will send it back and you make the correction. They'll point out what corrections you need to make, and it takes 5 minutes if so much once you have all your invoices in place. It only takes longer if you're a delinquent like me and you've lost your invoices or misplaced them and you have to go searching or calling the medical practitioner and begging for another copy. But generally
Right.
speaking, it only takes a few minutes. So another area that persons usually don't think about when you've been laid off, many persons might be on a group health insurance plan, and there are actually options for you to convert to an individual insurance plan. So those benefits that you would have had while you were with the group, you can have a discussion again with your insurance practitioner and be able to see what kind of plan you would have if you had to be on your own, if this is something that you were able to manage. Because I know in a time of uncertainty, it's very tempting and for some persons actually practical to cancel as many things as possible. But when it comes to health in particular, if there's an opportunity to convert to an individual plan, it helps to make sure that if there are any surprises, that you're still covered, because health does not exactly always come in a nice, neat bundle. You may have a
Mhm.
medical procedure that is quite pricey or expensive, and insurance at the time may help to alleviate some of that emotional and financial burden that you may be going through, having to worry about where you're going to get this money from. And
Mm-hmm.
it's something to think about because there's no right or wrong answer here. It totally depends on your particular circumstances and the risk that you're willing to take on. But if you are able to squeeze this in, at least the health insurance, I would encourage persons to do so because we never know what life holds. And it's always a scary thing to not feel as though you have that extra comfort in case something goes wrong.
I see on that list that you have there, Crystal, there's also something about an employee assistance plan. Explain how that would work.
There's some persons who would go to make sure they have some career counseling or personal counseling. So some persons' places of employment may actually do this, whereas you might
Right.
also have to rely on public service programs and recruitment programs where they would help you to be able to navigate whether you can have to beef up your resume, if there are recruiters who will be able to place you with other jobs and using their office or their facilities to help to match you in terms of your job search and going for career opportunities. Many people will look in the media, the print media, in the ad section, looking for new jobs. But many persons don't realize online that there are lots of opportunities as well for careers, especially if you're on things like LinkedIn. LinkedIn usually will help to match you to a career that suits the profile you have filled out. And this is another area that persons need to make sure that they beef up. If you are currently out of work, making sure that your LinkedIn profile and your resume being up to date is critical because there's sometimes
Okay.
they looked at profiles and they have jobs that they've left years ago. And that means that all the experience that they would have had in their current jobs is not on display for recruiters to be able to see.
Wow. Yeah, that's critical. It's interesting how vital the social media part of it is to job searches in these times. Crystal, always great getting advice from you. Looking forward to seeing you next Monday. You be safe and see you then.
You be safe as well.
Thanks, Crystal.